Hi, good evening, everyone. It's 6:33 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. This is the Wednesday, June 24th, 2026 meeting of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. My name is Nancy Tung. I'm the chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party. I believe we have quorum, so Director Chen, would you please call the roll?
Good evening, Chair Tung. This is item 1, call to order by Chair Tung at 6:33 p.m. Akbar present. Arce. Arce present. Kalamuchi is, I think, present by proxy. Proxy by Gupta. Chandler. Chandler present. Chen, myself is present. Coles. Expected by proxy. Dorsey present. Galata, I believe expected. Gupta present. Hare
present by proxy.
Hare proxy by Arce. Ho
Here.
Ho present. Kim, I believe, is absent. Let's see. Absent. Kingsbury is expected. Lai, I believe, also expected. Mahmoud, not here. Okay. Imminent. Mar, not here, but expected. Win, but expected. Philhauer, expected. Okay. Sanjirardi.
Present.
Sanjirardi present. 2.
She's coming in also.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Ex officio, Chair Tung.
Here.
Tung present. Ex officios, Pelosi. Oh, thank you. Proxy, Cuellar. Mullen, not here yet. Kounalakis. Kounalakis not here yet. Ma. Also not here yet. Cohen. Not yet. Proxy Weisinger. Wiener.
Present by proxy.
Proxy Barrientos. Haney. Proxy Gallardo. Stephanie. Proxy. Mo, what is your last name? Oh, okay. All right. Got it. Okay, and then I also believe Alioto, Pierre, and Chen are planned to be absent. And then while I was calling the roll, I believe members Mahmoud and 2 have come in. Yes. Chair Tung, you have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Oh, yeah. Right. So agenda item number 2, approval of meeting minutes. Members, are there amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
And a second? Anyone?
Second.
Thank you. Second by member Sanjirardi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the agenda is approved. Item number 3, approval of the meeting minutes from our meeting of April 22nd, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes or any amendments to it? Motion to approve? Anyone? So moved by member Sanjirardi, a second?
Second.
Second by member Chandler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right. The meeting minutes from April 22nd are approved. Item number 4, which is general public comment. Before I turn it over to our executive director, I want to take a moment to remind everyone that the California Democratic Party Code of Conduct, which we have adopted, applies. In addition, our own code policies regarding to our central committee pertaining to the curbing of sexual assault and harassment We have our own special code of conduct. The behavior we expect of people here is to be welcoming, friendly, and respectful of people with differing opinions. If you violate the code of conduct, I will ask you to leave. So with those expectations, Executive Director, how many comment cards do we have?
12.
Okay. Since we have allotted up to 1 hour for public comment and there are 12 speakers, each speaker shall have the maximum 2 minutes generally allowed. Additionally, if you are taking a privilege when speaking, such as an associate member or president of a club, please state that before you begin your comments so that our executive director can allot you the correct amount of time. And go.
Okay. So we want to shuffle all these microphones around. One here. Goes there. There's method to the madness, trust me. This goes here. Yeah. All right. If you would like to make a public comment tonight, please fill out a comment card available at the table where I am seated. I will call speakers in the order that I received comment cards. Please note, this body takes all public comment during this item. Each member of the public will have 2 minutes, as Chair Tung indicated, to address this committee. Associate members, including club presidents or co-chairs, members of the Democratic State Central Committee, Assembly District Chairs, and regional directors will have double that time, or 4 minutes, to address this committee. In order to invoke this privilege, please clearly state your name and that you are an associate member of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee, and wait for the chair to confirm with me to recognize your privilege to speak for 4 minutes. I will keep time with the digital display positioned in front of me. A chime will sound when your time has elapsed. Thank you in advance for your patience. And with that, let's get to the list. Well, all right, great. My first couple of commenters are Heather McCarty, Angelica Campos, Sofia Flores Guevara, and Eddie Escoto. Whenever you're ready. Maybe let everyone settle down first. All right, whenever you're ready. That's, thank you.
Thank you. I came to some type of performing show. I didn't realize. Good evening. My name is Heather McCarty, and I serve on the City College Board of Trustees. And I'm here tonight in support of Agenda Item 11, the resolution urging action to protect Free City College. I know that this budget process is forcing a lot of genuinely hard choices and a lot of painful cuts. So I want to be clear about why Free City is different. This isn't spending, it is an investment. And it's one of the rare ones that helps people actually gain the skills to achieve meaningful economic uplift. For roughly $9.3 million, more than 20,000 San Franciscans accessed free job training, transfer preparation, and upskilling last year. We had a 93% participation rate, which is the highest in 5 years. And it is training the skilled workers our local economy needs. And it's a voter-backed promise going on 8 years now. When we invest here, we get people moving up. And it protects our most vulnerable. 30% of participants qualify for the Free City Cash Grant, and 100% of those recipients are economically underserved. We're talking about first-generation students, foster youth, veterans, CalWorks folks. They're facing an annual unmet need of $15,000 per year. So they are struggling. And in fact, many of our City College students are struggling. Last year, more than half of City College students reported in the fall that they were food insecure. So for many, this grant is the difference between staying enrolled and having to drop out of college in an emergency. The mayor's budget cuts this investment by $2.8 million, which is nearly a third of the program's budget. In a budget full of hard trade-offs, this is one cut that costs us more than it saves. When you cut an investment in people's skills and earning power, you don't just save $2.8 million, you lose the workforce, you lose upward mobility, and you lose the stability that the money would have built. I hope that you'll support this resolution this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Angelica Campos. Yeah, actually, my colleague doesn't like. He wants everybody to hold the mic.
Okay, I'm ready to do that. Okay. All right, my name is Angelica Campos. I was the most recent student trustee at City College of San Francisco. I'm a D4 resident, as well as someone who's very involved in the city. I'm on the board of Harvey Milk Democratic Club, have been involved in several other organizations in SF. I just want to say I'm wanting to speak in favor of, is it item 11? Item 11, the resolution to support and protect Free City College. And that's actually where I spent all of my day today at City Hall for Public Comment Day. And I just want to say, for me, Free City College is not just about tuition, it's about safety. That's something that I think a lot of people don't make the connection between of how City College can be a safety net or mobile, oh my gosh, a mobile for, community safety and well-being. For me, for example, myself, beyond just my involvement in student government, I participate in an academic program called Project Survive. And what I have been taught the last year in that program is about, promoting healthy relationships and domestic violence prevention and sexual assaults amongst our CCSF students. And also most recently, I've been teaching and educating in SFUSD. So that's just a snapshot of the wide array of programming that we have at City College of San Francisco that I wouldn't have been able to access, my peers wouldn't have been able to access without Free City. So I just want to encourage all of you to support the resolution that's on the agenda today. And I want to say I appreciate you all.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Sofia Flores Guevara. Where?
Hi, good evening. My name is Sofia Flores Guevara, and I am the current student chancellor of for 26-27 school year. I just wanted to briefly say that Free City helps a lot of us low-income students. It helps serve the community, and you're basically taking a powerful resource that is used by many. And it seems a little bit more unjust because other things seem to be more funded, such as tax-free tax waivers or tax cuts for the rich. And it doesn't seem very fair that we are already short on so many resources for low income, not just students, but for the community. And Free City is at risk, right? It's more of a tool than it is of than not, right? So I just wanted to vouch for that, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Eddie Escoto.
Good evening, I'm Eddie Escoto. I am a student at CCSF. I study biology and I hope to transfer over to UC Berkeley or UCSF, join with UC Berkeley Med program to become a doctor one day, or hopefully soon. I am here to talk about Free City program. Without Free City, my future would not be possible. My studies would not be possible. I also, like Angelica Campos, I'm also part of the Project Survive peer student education program, and I also work at the Student Health Center. None of these things could I do and access without Free City. I would like to thank you so very, very much for the support you have given us so far for Free City, and urge you to please continue supporting us and please approve this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. All right, my next set of names are Lorenzo Castaneda, Betsy Espinosa, Elijah Ball, and Vic Chung. So Lorenzo.
Hello, y'all. Good afternoon. So some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. I am a student at CCSF. I'm in sobriety. I'm in recovery. I'm formerly incarcerated. I did 17 years behind the wall. I grew up in all the worst. I've been homeless, addicted to drugs, been a convict, addicted to crime. And with the help of Positive Directions, helping me get sober, and with the help and the resources of Free City, I'm president of one of the first sober clubs on campus at Ocean Campus. I'm a treasurer of the Garden Club. I am a core member of the Students for Justice. I'm also I'm also involved in the student government at CCSF. I ran for student trustee, didn't get it, but that's not going to stop me. Also, I hold C4 on the SF Reentry Council. So I really, my gut's telling me that y'all is going to support our resolution and y'all going to vote to not only keep Free City, but fund it more than you fund everything else. Just please fight for us like you'll fight for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Betsy Espinosa.
Hi, my name is Betsy Espinoza. I'm a student at CCSF and also a San Francisco native. I graduated from Balboa High School, and after Balboa, I went to City College. At the time, it was $46 a unit, and it was extremely difficult for me to go to school full-time and work a job full-time, pay my rent, and go to the gym and get 8 hours of sleep. There would be no way that I can even have a family or anything, or create a family, because of the financial hardship of paying for school to better myself. So once Free City came, I decided to go back. And when I did go back, there was so many resources. I signed up for Latino Services, and they helped me with an education plan, and they pushed me into all these resources. At the time, I couldn't afford the Muni, and they said if I wrote an essay, they can give me a Clipper card. So I wrote the essay as to why I needed the money for the Clipper card, and I was able to get to work and go to school. City College is a resource for all of us, not just San Francisco natives, but people who live in San Francisco. It's very welcoming, it's very encouraging, and it pushes you to try to be your best. So my teacher from English 1A is actually here, Elisa Messer. And with Free City, I've also decided to give back to the City College community. I volunteered 20 hours for Project Shine, where I come in and I assist the teacher into helping the ESL students learn English. So please consider not cutting Free City, because it can help all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Elijah Ball, followed by Vic Chung, and then Mei Ling Hui. Apologies if I mispronounced that.
Good afternoon, DCCC members. I'm Elijah Ball, and I'm here to say that we must protect Free City College. As an 18-year-old, I moved to San Francisco to attend college, and I was the first in my family to attain a degree. And the path to higher education was not easy. 14 years later, I stand here today as a proud San Franciscan and a professional college campus planner. And I've had the opportunity to work and see many students throughout California within the 72 community college districts. And what I hear is that higher education is so hard due to the cost of living, trying to pay rent for that person that is a parent, but also going part-time to school. And to me, and especially for many students, which I've been hearing for the past couple of weeks in San Francisco, the Free City program helps make college possible. It helps the students cover the real costs of attaining higher education. And to me, right now, City College and San Francisco, we must continue to lead by example. And I ask the DCCC to pass a resolution urging action to protect Free City College. As I see it, any dollar that is taken away from City College is just that door of opportunity closing 1 inch more. So thank you so much for your time and consideration on this matter. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Vic Chung, Mei Ling Hui, and then Alyssa Messer. Sorry.
Good evening, committee members. My name is Vic Chung. I use they, them pronouns, and I also, like Trustee McCarty, serve on the City College Board of Trustees. And some of the other fun facts I'd like to share with you, or perhaps not so fun, about our higher educational system is that I know it's been a minute since some of you have been to college. Maybe you have some kids along the way who might be applying for financial aid or know friends that do. But the federal and state grants that our lowest income students receive are exactly the same in San Francisco as they are across our nation as well as our state, which means despite the higher cost of living in San Francisco, they receive the exact same amount of financial aid. What's incredible about our Free City program is we really, not only have we provided a cash grant for our lowest income students, these are the students who have also taken the most amount of, they take more units than other Free City recipients. They have better retention, as in they continue coursework from fall to spring. And if, you know, the track record at our community college has shown, we've had a higher increase in graduation rates, transfer rates, and in certificate granted. And we're doing a lot of work at City College. We truly are, despite our financial situation. But it's even that much more important that in order for us to bridge funding from the state, it's based off of enrollment, retention, as well as those who also apply for FAFSA. And we're doing all that work, which is why Free City funding is so critical to bridging all that. But I just want to end with a personal note, is that so many of you ran on platforms to provide public safety. And I know not enough research has gone around funding higher education specifically. We talk about early education, we talk about grade school, we talk about high school. But oftentimes, right, the education we provide for students who have experienced, who are just as impacted, right, that is a direct impact that we provide to our communities as far as public safety. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Mei Ling Hui, Alyssa Messer, Susan Pfeiffer, and then to round us out, Ruth Ferguson.
Good evening. My name is Mei Ling Hui. I wanted to thank you for taking up this critically important item, which clearly has broad support from all San Francisco communities, especially the staff, the faculty, the students, and all of the administration at City College. Through the demonstrations at City Hall and other organizing efforts, and tonight, we have heard countless personal stories of how City College has helped our community members to thrive. I too am a City College success story. Having grown up in economic instability, attending City College was one of the first times I experienced nurturing. City College took care of me as a whole person. They helped me not only with my education, but in growing my understanding of myself, what I'm capable of, and how I can contribute to my community. Because of City College, I was able to achieve union work and stabilize my economic life. And but life in general was less expensive when I went to school. The per unit cost at City College was less than half what it is now when I attended. But it was still hard. It was still incredibly hard for me to be a student and put myself through school. I would not have made it without all of the support from City College, the financial aid, the on-campus jobs, even the health center. I speak in support of the resolution today, but I also urge the mayor to listen to all of these voices raised in support of Free City, to not only restore, but to secure this funding for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Oops.
Good evening. My name is Alisa Messer. I am a 25-year English teacher at City College of San Francisco and a rank and file leader in my union, AFT 2121, and glad to be here and thank you for taking this up. Our students say more clearly than anyone, our students and our alums, just what it means to have Free City available to them. But I do want to add that when you've talked to a student who tells you that in junior high school, their mom came and told them that City College was now free and that they knew that that meant that they could go to college, not just that their mom expected them to go to college, but they could do it. That is just, it's incredible what this program means for individual students and their families and their dreams. And so when we talk about the 22,000 students per year, roughly, who access Free City, those are hopes and dreams and so much more than the classes that our students sit in, but they are also those classes, right? It is a promise to students' futures that San Francisco has made this possible for them. And it's an extraordinary feat that says that San Francisco loves our families, loves our students, loves our citizens, and wants to see them succeed in their lives. And I just think that's a profound thing. And it's pretty cheap when you think about that, right? 9.3 million is not enough for the program to remain sustainable long-term, but it is, we think, enough for us to get through this next year and the year after that. And we want to see that happen. And we appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, we have Susan Pfeiffer. Hi, Susan.
Good evening, Democrats. I'm on my tippy toes. Susan Pfeiffer, and you know me every month, came to talk about a few things tonight. First, I just want to celebrate a continuing celebration of last was it Saturday that they had the opening of the Obama Library or the complex in Chicago? What a day that was. How many of you watched it on TV? It brought back so many memories. That campaign really kickstarted my life and things since then. In fact, that got me into doing the Affordable Care Act because of that, because of Obama and Pelosi. So that's number one on my list. We're not in open enrollment. But if you know anyone in your life or your circle who has lost their job recently, and we're having continuous layoffs going on, they have 60 days if they lose their insurance from their job. They have 60 days to enroll in Cover California or Medi-Cal, and they can get on unemployment. So be sure and send them my way because I want to help people with that. Secondly, now that the primary is over, the election has started for the midterms. The Bay Area Coalition, which this organization is a part of, is kickstarting their phone banking tomorrow night. The state party will be managing the first 2 weeks of phone banks on Thursday nights, and then the Bay Area Coalition will kick in after that. And we're continuing to do CA 22 and CA 13. We may do a Southern California race as well. So we've got fresh candidates and we need everyone putting their energy forth on this to get on the phones or go to Modesto and knock on doors. We cannot say, I wish we had. This is the year we have to do it. So I'm just saying, get started on that. I think that was the main stuff I wanted to say. So.
Thank you for your comment, Susan. And +1 to phone banking, canvassing. Ruth Ferguson, followed by Louise Zamora, and then Alia Chisti.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ruth Ferguson. I'm a trustee for the City College of San Francisco. In April of this year, my colleagues and I, most of whom actually are here tonight, exciting, we voted for a resolution that mirrors the one that is before you today. My colleague, Trustee McCarty, just shared the inspiring data points for why we were proud to stand together for Free City, because the receipts for this program are really incredibly strong, because the college is getting back on track, steadily and sustainably growing enrollment to secure its long-term future, because this is a program that changes the lives of San Franciscans across kind of every demographic and background and their future goals and aspirations. This is personal to me. Every person in my family attended community college, including me. My parents really struggled to earn their degrees. My dad worked many odd jobs to pay his way through Santa Rosa Junior College, and my parents relied on food stamps with a young family while they were still in school. I still remember the day they celebrated with us, paying off their student loans. And that was many moons ago, when the cost of living and the cost of attending school and the trade-offs associated with that, even community college, was much easier. For students today, the trade-offs and costs of attending community college, even with free tuition, like Free City, the kind of baseline Free City, is often too much to bear. So today, I am urging you to follow our board's lead. Like I said, we voted unanimously to support it, this resolution, and support this resolution before you today. I know that this is an incredibly challenging time with our budget. I don't discount the tough decisions our city has to make. But fully funding this program will ensure that we continue to uplift future generations of San Franciscans who are working so hard. And we've heard some of these stories today, which are so inspiring from past students, current students. They're working so hard to improve their lives, their own lives, their families' lives, and our city. Please support the resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Luis Zamora.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see many of your faces. It's been a little while. I am here speaking in support of the resolution for City College to protect Free City. I'll just keep it brief. As many of you know, we've been working hard at City College to put us back on track to make financially responsible long-term decisions. And this money is really going to go a long way to help us provide affordable, free community college to students. We're growing again, and this really needs to be something at the forefront of our decisions. But again, as my colleague has mentioned, there are tough decisions with this budget, and we completely respect that. But we are asking that you support this resolution tonight. And I thank you all for not just this, but all the work that you're all doing across the city and for really the state of California. So good to see you all again.
Thank you for your comment. Alia Chisti.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having this resolution in support of Free City in front of you all tonight. I'm really excited to also see my colleagues here, Trustee Ferguson, Trustee McCarty, VP Zamora, and Trustee Chung's. So we almost have 5 of us here. You know, just to contextualize this a little bit is that the Free City program was under a 10-year MOU between City College and the city with an allocation of approximately $15 million per year. And given the constraints the city is facing, that has resulted in some of the provisions of the MOU being revisited. And so right now, what we are trying to do is, you know, the initial allocation of $16.5 million was egregiously below what the true cost of this program is. So getting it back to 9.3, it will be really, really helpful. And I want everyone to understand this money is going directly to students. So students who are there taking classes will get a portion of this money for their tuition. And then the second half of those students get a grant from the city to help them with books, transportation. So this is really making sure that people have access to education. I think it also, you know, the concept of Free City is really about how we as San Franciscans view education. We want people to go back, take classes, maybe learn something new that they haven't. And so the Free City really encompasses this beautiful notion of, you know, how we view education and how we want our residents to be expanding their minds. So thank you for supporting the board in this process. Thank you so much for helping us do our advocacy to make sure we help our students reach their goals. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Chair Tung, there are no more comment cards, and there is no further written public comment that was conveyed to me since the last time I emailed you all at 4:30 or 4:15.
Thank you. All right, moving on, excuse me, moving on to agenda item number 5, reports. This is the time for our DCCC officer and member reports, including discussion and possible action to offer updates on work assignments. So I will give my chair's report. Thank you everyone for the hard work. We canceled our May meeting so that people might work on elections. And those of you who were candidates could work on your candidacies. And of the endorsements we made in the June election, the DCCC's endorsements all passed or won. So that's great. So the 4 candidates that we endorsed all won their elections, and the 4 ballot measures we endorsed, those positions succeeded. So I think that we are moving the city in the right direction. So thank you everybody for your work on those elections. We will also be participating in the One City Day initiative that is being spearheaded by San Francisco First Lady Becca Prouda. We have adopted 3 events that we will be driving participation to. I personally will be going to the Community Care for Women, a self-defense care kit assembly and domestic violence education program that's being put on by Cameron House in North Beach or in Chinatown, and Asians Are Strong. So if you would like to join me at that, please do. For our students who are leaving, thank you for participating and coming to give public comments. It's always very important to hear your voice. We appreciate you being here today. Thank you. We are also doing a beach cleanup that Executive Director Esfandiari is heading up at Ocean Beach, and Courtney is going to be spearheading the Planting the Pennsylvania Gardens out in Bayview. No, Potrero. Sorry, Potrero. So details and RSVP pages are at sfdems.org/events. Any other member who would like to adopt one of these events for your very own and have the party promoted, please let me know. And I think Finance Director Sandrardi has an oral report for your committee.
Thank you. I really just wanted to give one shout out. There was a lot of work put into raising the dollars that we needed to produce an effective political program in the June 2 primary. And I specifically wanted to give a big shout out to Vice Chair Phil Hauer for all of her work in doing fundraising and all of your support for that. You did an amazing job, and just want to let you know how much we appreciate you. Thank you. I can also do the gala report. We're also going to talk about the gala. The gala is on Thursday, September 10th. Asks from you all for your sponsorship and ticket purchases will be coming imminently. So get ready and put a number in your head that you're comfortable with, and then be prepared for me to ask you for more than that. We will have more updates. I think we're going to be sending out the save the date this week sometime. Everything looks really great. I want to thank Courtney for all of your work in that and getting it prepared. And I also want to thank my fellow co-chair, Carrie Barnes, who will be serving as co-chair again this year, as well as the 2 other committee members this year, Chair Tong and Jamie Hewling. Yeah, so those are the updates for now.
Okay. And I think Member Kingsbury has an update for Director Coles. I think it's fine. We aren't going to get their taxes.
Oh, that's so exciting. All right, I'm giving this update on behalf of Vice Chair, Director Coles. We are currently in the all-out sprint leading up to the July 4th picnic. We are dying to have folks join us. If you are around on July 4th, please come. It's going to be from 11 to 1 at the Robin Williams Meadow. We're in full-on marketing mode right now, so we're trying to get the word out to anyone and everyone that we can. So for the elected officials who are on this body, you all have newsletters, and you all have a lot of email addresses. So please email out that this is coming, that this is happening. We really do want to make sure that we get as many folks as possible. We're going to have a food truck there. We're going to have some lawn games there. We're going to have some folks reading the Declaration of Independence. And for our elected officials who join, not only will you be offered a chance to read a section of the Declaration of Independence, a shortened section, by the way, we're not reading the whole thing because we don't want everyone to sit there for 15 full minutes, an abridged version, but we're also doing it in multiple languages. And you'll get a moment just to speak and talk about the importance of the 4th of July, of America's 250th anniversary, and what is our actual theme this year, Chair Tong?
Celebrating our diversity.
Celebrating our diversity. So that will, if you want to make comments as an elected official about those, please join us. We would love to see you there. I think that is it. Also, everyone that's on this body, I expect you to be there if you're in town. There's going to be a taco truck.
A lot of burritos.
There's going to be a lot of burritos. You do have to RSVP for the burritos, though. But the burritos will be covered if you RSVP, right?
Everybody gets a burrito.
Everyone gets a burrito. Yes, that's how we celebrate America's birthday, burritos.
Yeah. Exactly. Here.
All right. Burritos aside, we're moving on to item number 6, which was Director Chen, Amendment of Policies and Procedures Manual, Article 7, Section 6. Turn the floor to you.
Thank you, Chair Tung. Colleagues, this is a relatively small amendment on clarifying timelines on when ballot measure endorsements are early or on timely. We want to clarify that when the Department of Elections or when the relevant electionist authority says that this measure is definitely for sure qualified and going on the ballot, then the DCCC is able to endorse. And looking ahead specifically to this November election, there is some ambiguity in the current bylaws about whether.
I'm sorry. No.
Oh, sorry.
We have one more. Report that we need to give. I'm so sorry. It's not highlighted in yellow, and my eyes are really bad. I apologize. Region 7 Director, if you have a report.
Where is it? So I'll just talk to you. It's okay.
We have online.
Oh, whatever.
For the people online.
Hi for the people online. How many of you are going to be going to the I can't.
E-board in San Diego.
E-board in San Diego.
Yeah, there are four of us.
Okay. There will be a meeting and it had to be changed and it hasn't gotten out to you, but it will get out to you tomorrow about what is going to go on there. And it will be telling you and talking about what's going to happen there. And it will be on the 27th. The problem was all of us were writing this out and doing it, but then they found out that Hicks, the chair, had set another meeting exactly during our time. And so we're going to be doing it a little later, but it's going to be on the 27th. And it'll be, and I will have these out to you by tomorrow morning, Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to this thing that we're going to, because it is going to be very good. There's going to be a lot of training and, you know, to get us to really get there in November. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Regional Director Henny Kelly.
Now we're back to your item.
Sorry. Director Chen, moving on to back to item number 6.
Right, thank you. I'll start from the top. What you have before you, members, for item 6 is a relatively small change, clarifying the timelines on when the DCCC takes up a ballot measure, when that is early or when that is on time. As you may recall, early endorsements require 60%. Regular endorsement that's not early will be 50%. And so this clarifies that when the relevant elections authority has deemed that this is qualified for the ballot, it's definitely going to go on the ballot in November, then the DCCC will be empowered to endorse it at the regular 50% threshold. And in particular for November, there seems to be, we don't know how many ballot measures locally we'll find. I thought it would be prudent that we would be able to, at least for the ones that we know are qualified, endorse some of them in July and not wait to take all of them in August. So that is the item before you. I'm happy to take questions.
All right, any questions, members? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve this amendment to the policies and procedures? Moved by member Dorsey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by member Gupta. Let's do a roll call vote.
One moment. Okay, item 6, amendment of policies and procedures manual, Article 7, Section 6, regarding timelines for endorsement of ballot measures. The motion is to approve this amendment. The threshold is a majority, so more than 50%. Calling the roll, starting from Hare, Proxy Arce.
She's yes.
Hare, I. Ho. Ho, I. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, I. Lai. Lai, I. Mahmood. Mahmood, I. Mar. Mar, I. Win. Win, I. Philhauer. Philhauer, I. Senjurati. Senjurati, I. Tu. Tu, I. Akbar. Akbar, I. Alioto is absent. Arce. Arce, I. Kalamuchi. Kalamuchi, I. Chan is absent. Chandler. Chandler, I. Chan, myself is I. Coles. Coles, I. Dorsey. Dorsey, I. Galata is, oh, Galata's here. Sorry. Galata is I. Sorry. Gupta. Gupta, I. Ex officio is Pelosi. Pelosi, I. Mullen. Mullen, I. Kounalakis. Kounalakis, abstain. Ma. Ma, I. Cohen. Cohen, I. Wiener. Wiener, I. Haney. Haney, I. Stephanie. Stephanie, I. Chair Tung.
Aye.
Tung, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Chair Tung, there are 27 members present and voting. Of those, there are 27 ayes, 0 no, and 1 abstain.
Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item number 7, amendment of policies and procedures manual, Article 7, Section 5. Director Chen.
Thank you for your patience as we go through more amendments. This is an amendment that would, the summary is that this would allow but not require the SFDCCC to endorse on state ballot measures. The way it is now is that the SFDCCC defers to KDEM, the state party, for all state ballot measures, unless the state party does not come to an endorsement, does not take a position, in which case DCCC could take a position. In this reformulation, the SFDCCC, under the discretion of the chair, could choose to take a position on a state ballot measure independent of KDEM. We are allowed to do this because KDEM, while they require one voice, a unified candidate endorsement for candidates, they do not require that for measures. And in fact, the Los Angeles County Democratic Party has a process where they can make their own endorsements separate from the state party. So this gives the SFDCCC a tool to weigh in on state ballot measures. And so that's what's on the floor before you. I'm happy to take questions.
Any questions or discussion, members, about this amendment to the Policies and Procedures Manual? Seeing none, is there? Sorry, I'm sorry, Member Galata. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I did just have a question or just a couple comments maybe on this as well, which is just I was not aware that actually that DCCCs did have the potential option of not aligning with the state party on ballot measures, because I always understood the one voice rule to apply, kind of across the board on endorsements, whether it was for candidates or for ballot measures. So it's interesting to hear that LA actually does have a provision that allows them to act distinctly from the state party. I do think it's important. The one voice rule has been an important part of our party's endorsement process, and I think the state party has its process, and I think it's important. We're all also delegates to the state party, so we have a voice, of course, in that process as well. I am, as a former rules committee member at the state party, I'm just also curious about our bylaws in terms of this change, in terms of whether this would put us at all at risk. And from a bylaw standpoint, the state party does have to approve county committee bylaws and changes, and there are specific requirements that we have to uphold. Now, clearly LA has a certain provision, so I'm not sure if we're following LA, if we are taking a different approach. So I just had a question about just procedurally how we're proceeding here, and if we've engaged the state party at all, or provided them any sort of notice or asked for their guidance around how we might be proceeding here, just so that we're aligned with the state party practice. Personally, I don't know if I'll be supporting this proposed bylaws change, because I do believe in the state party process around the state measures and candidates. So I'm still kind of debating whether I think this is actually a good move for us to do, and I'd be curious to understand how it's been in practice in LA. But without that kind of information, I'm just curious more procedurally, any sort of engagement with the state party or review of this proposed change.
Thank you, Member Galata. I also want to make sure, I also believe it is important that our bylaws of the DCCC are compliant with the state party. I have perused the state party bylaws, and I can give you the section and number that enumerates the one voice rule, which is, let me see if I got this right. Article 8, Section 1, subsections D and E, which say both the one voice rule about candidate endorsements and also the penalty for local county committees if they don't, and theoretically, technically, the local county committees are independent of the state party, but the penalty if a local county committee chooses to do a candidate endorsement separate from the state party, then that means that all the county delegates are not recognized, shall not be recognized. And so, to my understanding, this is 100% compliant with the state party. We know that other county committees are doing this, have done this before, and there are provisions in their bylaws. I am happy to. I'd like to proceed with it tonight, and also, if in the future something does come to our attention, we are happy to make changes. I will be happy to propose changes. Sorry.
Any other questions, discussion, debate about this item? Yes, Member Nguyen.
Yeah, I just, is there any like state ballot initiatives coming up in November that's kind of, is this sort of triggered by the November election that we're taking an eye on? And I'm curious about the process for, because I'm not actually quite up to speed on the KDEM ballot initiative endorsement process. Is that sort of what we're looking at right now? That's why it has to happen now? Or is it just sort of like, we just want this power, so we want to do it now? I'm just curious about that.
Speaking for myself and not necessarily for everybody on this body, but one thing is that we do know that there's a lot of things that are coming down the line for the state party. There are initiatives, which I think their deadline for withdrawal of initiative measures is tomorrow, in fact, and then also the state legislature is also able to put things on the ballot up maybe to and including August, and so we're still figuring out exactly what's happening on the state ballot. Some things that came to mind was that being able to be first and actually having the power to say to take a position and say this really does not align with our values would help. For example, at the e-board meeting in the end of July, when most of the state delegates are going to make a decision and to say that, oh, the San Francisco Democratic Party, right, really, for example, not to say, but really opposes the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association's measure that would cap, that would really harm state, local, and federal government, state and local government revenue. For example, not for illustrative purposes only. So when I was drafting this, there was no one particular thing in mind. I was thinking in past times that it would add some flexibility and make sure that the endorsements at the state ballot measures would be in some ways match some of the values and stuff that we are also doing locally.
Could I
Yes.
weigh in on this also?
Yes.
So
Member Dorsey.
I will be supporting this, and my thinking on it is, I think it would be rare that there would be instances where there would be disagreements, but one that I did think about at the time was, I don't know if you remember in 2016, Michael Weinstein from the AIDS Healthcare Project had a condoms and porn measure that those of us in the Bay Area who are supportive of PrEP and public health were strongly against. And it was interesting that there was a lot of support for it in Los Angeles, and I know that ended up the state party went along as a no, but it was a close call and it was a real floor fight. So I could see that was one scenario, but I think it would be relatively rare, where I could see San Francisco or Northern California having a real difference of opinion in other parts where there's more votes. So that's one of the scenarios where I could have seen this playing out, and I would want the flexibility for our county committee to take a position that's the right position if the state takes a wrong position.
Thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to pass these amendments to the Policies and Procedures Manual, Article 7, Section 5?
So moved.
Moved by Member Chandler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Dorsey. Okay, could we have a roll call vote, please?
This is item 7, amendment of Policies and Procedures Manual, Article 7, Section 5, concerning state ballot measure endorsements. The motion is by Chandler to approve this amendment. The threshold is a majority. Let's see, calling the roll starting from Ho. Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar. Mar, abstain. Win. Win, abstain. Philhauer. Aye. Philhauer, aye. Sanjirardi. Aye. Sanjirardi, aye. 2. 2, aye. Akbar. Aye. Akbar, aye. Arce. Aye. Arce, aye. Kalamuchi. Aye. Kalamuchi, aye. Chan is absent. Chandler. Aye. Chandler, aye. Chen, myself is aye. Coles. Proxy Kingsbury. Coles, aye. Dorsey. Dorsey, aye. Galata. Galata, no. Gupta. Gupta, aye. Hare. Proxy Arce.
Here is
Hare, aye. Let's see. Let's see. Ex officios, Pelosi. Pelosi, aye. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kounalakis. Kounalakis, abstain. Ma. Ma, abstain. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, abstain. Chair Tong.
Aye.
Tong, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Chair Tong, out of there are 3 absences, 5 abstentions, leaving 23 present and voting. Of those 23, 22 aye, 1 no. The motion carries.
Thank you very much, members. Moving on to agenda item number 8, a resolution. We must oppose modern day poll taxes and voter disenfranchisement. Member Sangiardi, or Director Sangiardi.
Thank you very much, Chair Tung. My apologies for having 2 resolutions this evening, which means y'all are just getting me on multiple high horses, so please bear with me. First of all, I just want to give out some special thanks for some help that I received on this resolution, specifically from the Alice B. Toklas LGBTQ Democratic Club, our co-chairs, Jane Natoli and Martin Rawlings-Fine, as well as 2 members of our board of directors, Susan Christian and Jamal Anderson. I think that we all know right now that the parties are not the same. And I think that in a lot of ways, I'm not often the most, the biggest supporter of like doing a bunch of resolutions, but I do think when there are actions that are being taken that are so antithetical to the foundation of our party and what we're trying to achieve, it is our responsibility to lift those actions up, to educate voters about them, and to encourage action to fight against them. I think there is an initiative on that will be on the November ballot, and I know the California Democratic Party hasn't taken a stance on it, so we as a party can't specifically take a stance on that. But I can in these comments talk about what that really does. There is a Republican in San Diego, Carl DeMaio, who has gotten this ballot initiative qualified for November. And it would require the use of IDs that have pictures on them, picture IDs. This is a well-worn tactic that Republicans have used for voter disenfranchisement, and it would prohibit or disenfranchise hundreds of thousands of Californians who have legal ID for voting and force them to go pay for new ID, to find documents that they may not have access to anymore, to pay for new documents and use other forms of ID that they may not have anymore to try to get those new documents, to get this new picture ID. It is Republicans using bureaucracy to disenfranchise people. And it is not just this specific ballot initiative. When I wrote this resolution a little over a month ago, it had just qualified for the ballot, and that was a Friday, and the next Wednesday, the Supreme Court struck down the 3rd and final pillar of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. This just continues to, they are hammering away at our voting rights across the country. This has been a multi-decade effort, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. And this is not just, I think that this is actually just more than just what's happening here in California or across our country. I think I want to go high level here and just say that I personally believe that democracy is the most ethical and highest form of human organization. We have been fighting each other for thousands of years to try to figure out how to organize as a people, and this is the best example we have of self-determination for a people. And in the history of humanity, we have only ever had more and more democracies across the world until 2010. And we started seeing a consistent backsliding of democracies across the world. And we have fewer today than we had 15 years ago. And just a couple of years ago, We actually saw the very public, elimination of a democracy in Asia when China took over Hong Kong and stopped elections. And it's not stopping there. The United States still has a one China policy, and Taiwan, in its durable, stable democracy, where people get to choose their own destinies and what they stand for and get to elect their own representatives with their own values, are being threatened. And that is the official policy of the United States. And that official policy of the United States is that of the White House right now, the same administration that is doing everything it can to curtail voting rights and enable this oligarchic, technocratic, authoritarian power for the few and wealthy to control everything. And they will attack the most marginalized people to scare people into submission. And when that doesn't work, they will simply purge the voter rolls. It is absolutely insane. And this is literally happening also here in California. And I just think we need to speak to that. I want to thank again the members of the Alice Club who helped. I want to thank all of you who I've spoken with who have expressed your support for this resolution. And if you're ever interested in talking about the history of democracy and what it means for people to choose their own destiny and how valuable democracy is, I'm happy to chat with you about it and happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Sangerardi. Members, any comments or discussion? All right, seeing none. Thank you for bringing this forward, Director Sangerardi. Seeing none, is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
So moved by Director Chen. Is there a second? Second. Second by Vice Chair Philhauer. May we have a roll call vote?
This is item 8, resolution. We must oppose modern day poll taxes and voter disenfranchisement. Disenfranchisement. The author of the resolution is Sangerardi. The motion is by Chen to approve the resolution. One moment. Starting the roll, Kim is absent. Kingsbury.
Aye.
Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar. Mar, aye. Win. Win, aye. Philhauer.
Aye.
Philhauer, aye. Sangerardi. Sangerardi, aye. 2.
Aye, sorry.
2, aye. Akbar. Akbar, aye. Alioto Pierre is absent. Arce. Arce, aye. Kalamuchi. Kalamuchi, aye. Chen is absent. Chandler. Chandler, aye. Chen is aye. Coles. Coles is aye. Dorsey. Dorsey, aye. Galata. Galata, aye. Gupta. Gupta, aye. Hare. Hare, aye. Ho. Ho, aye. Ex officios. Pelosi. Pelosi, aye. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kounalakis. Kounalakis, aye. Ma. Ma, aye. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, aye. Chair Tong.
Aye.
Tong, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Chair Tong, there are 28 members present and voting. Of those, there are 28 ayes. The motion carries.
Thank you. Congratulations. Item number 9, resolution urging reforms in the California Democratic Party's endorsement process. Member Kingsbury, would you like to introduce your resolution?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to say this actually was co-authored by Mike Chen and by Emma Hare. So I don't want to take all of the credit. We just needed one lead author. I think all of us felt like the lead up to the June election was a really anxiety-producing time in the Democratic Party in California. We were looking at a situation where we may very well have had a Democratic lockout, and we did not choose a preferred candidate. And we did not endorse a preferred candidate as the state party. And in fact, the top two vote getters for the state party endorsement for governor both dropped out before Election Day. That was not a great look for us, and it was not a great situation. I think voters were looking to us for direction, and we were unable to provide it. Furthermore, one of our lead candidates ended up dropping out because of very serious and credible allegations made against him. And when looking at the bylaws, what the three of us discovered is that there was no immediate mechanism to be able to pull an endorsement if an endorsement had been made of that individual, and he was the lead vote getter in the endorsement process. And there would have been no mechanism for us to have had a follow-up vote to be able to endorse someone quickly. And I know there were a couple of suggestions that maybe we should have a special e-board meeting, maybe we should do something about it, but there was no process. So this resolution does two things. The first is it says we need to actually make an endorsement, or we need to say we're not making endorsement. Let's not have any more no consensus endorsements or non-endorsements. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It confuses people. And when they look to us to understand how to make sense of a ballot that, in the case of the gubernatorial race, I believe had 60 people running. I don't know how, I'm sure all of you here actually did look at your ballot and your eyes went cross trying to figure out who was actually on it. The Democratic Party didn't endorse anybody. That's really unhelpful. So we want to, our recommendation, which by the way is totally non-binding and is not being sent to the state party, because I've learned something about resolutions, and you can't send resolutions to the state party if they recommend policies, only if they recommend ideas or concepts of an idea. So, so this is suggesting that we use RCV to make endorsements. So we either endorse a candidate or we go no endorsement. So we don't end up in a situation again where 5 of the 8 statewide positions are no consensus. And then the follow-up item on this is we recommend, and we don't say that there's one specific way to do it, that the party actually create a process by which to pull an endorsement should there be this type of credible accusation made against someone, and to be able to hold a second vote on an endorsement. All of this is getting ahead of a potential pileup that we could have at some point in the future. Now, there's been plenty of conversation. What if we just do away with top 2? Sure, but that's in a perfect world. That's going back to the voters. We don't know when that necessarily would happen, and I'm not even sure that that would necessarily pass. So what we're proposing is something that would actually be able to solve a real problem in the world as it exists now, and I ask that everyone here join in and sign on to this.
Great. Anyone else have comment? Director Chen, did you want to comment on this as well?
Sure.
All right. Thank you to Member Kingsbury for introing the resolution. I share, I think, maybe with a lot of you, a lot of the hair of the gnashing of teeth and the pulling of hair because, oh my God, what if 2 Republicans get there because there were 15 Democrats all competing for the endorsement? And, you know, I would love for people to be able to vote their favorite candidate, and also knowing that it's just very tough in the current system where I think just like people have been really trying to vote strategically. And that's true, I think, not just for voters at large, but also for delegates, because I think delegates also have had this thing, had this case where they have one shot. You want your vote to count. And so I, you know, speaking as a state delegate who was voting in February, and then also as a voter in June who was anxiously trying to compare the polls and trying to figure out who was a credible candidate, and you know, where do I think that my vote will have the, you know, where can I get the sweet spot of a viable candidate who I think most aligns with my values, it's been really tough. And I think, and I would love to get a system where people can feel like their vote can matter more, and also where the party is able, especially for a lot of delegates who are like, we should endorse somebody. It's like, I'm actually okay with like 3 or 4 candidates, but the current system doesn't let me really express that preference. And so I appreciate Member Kingsbury's leadership on this. Thank you. And also our absent member, Emma Hare.
Thank you, Director Chen. Members, any debate, discussion, questions? Member Dorsey.
Thank you, Chair. I think, so I want to express my appreciation to everybody who worked on this, and I applaud what it's trying to accomplish, and I'm not going to support it. I would support it. I do think the subsection B about adopting a process to withdraw an endorsement would be worth taking up, and I think that's that definitely identifies a glaring issue with the state bylaws. I actually like the 60% threshold for endorsements at the state party, and I think that's consistent with the one voice principle of the state party rules. I don't have as much confidence in ranked choice. I don't know that it's going to necessarily achieve a good result, and I'm just unpersuaded that ranked choice voting would help with the process. I also just never really thought that the likelihood of a 2 Republican finish was really ever going to play out. I will say too, I will confess that my candidate in this was a late entrant who I think had a narrow window of opportunity, Matt Mahan, to identify himself and hopefully catch fire. And it didn't happen, but there was never a scenario where he was going to emerge. I think he would have been, or any newcomer would be disserved by that. So I'm actually comfortable with the 60% threshold. However, I do like the B, and I hope that the party does take that up, because I think this past election did identify that we could have had a real problem. So that's right.
Anyone else? Questions, comment? I'll say that, Member Dorsey, I kind of agree with you on the 60% rule, and whether or not we're able to achieve some consensus on a statewide basis for a candidate. 60% is pretty good, and if we don't get to that place, and it's it's essentially a no endorsement anyway, right? We don't take a position, we don't take an endorsement as a statewide party. I agree with you, though, that there should be some provision to rescind an endorsement, given what we just saw in this election cycle. I know this isn't binding, but I do think it's food for thought for the state party to consider. I will be supporting it, even though I have this disagreement, but I will be supporting this resolution. Director Chen.
Yeah. Yes, I without saying yes, I believe I hear Member Dorsey talk about 60%, no, 60%. We can still do a 60% threshold. I think this is really thinking about cases where you have 6 candidates, and then people will vote for long shot candidates, and then giving folks a second shot to say, okay, well, your candidate is not going to get the endorsement. Would you like the option, right, to move to another candidate and maybe push that other candidate up to 60%? So I think those two things, this idea of a supermajority and also some level of ranking or transferable ballots, are compatible. So that's saying, details I think still TBD, but I think some level of at least starting the conversation at the state party.
Yes, I appreciate that. I also appreciate that ranked choice has really worked out in San Francisco. Although we have had it for a very long time, it still confuses voters. So hopefully party insiders might be a little bit more, I don't know, sophisticated about, I don't know. So Member Galata.
I will say it worked out for me. I just wanted to say too, I support the intent of this resolution. I do think we need reform and not seeing the party make endorsements when it really matters and it's important in these critical elections. We really do need a process that allows that. I echo Member Dorsey and Member Chung actually just on the in the resolve clause that that first, I support B 100%. I think, and I do support ranked choice voting, and I was a proponent of ranked choice voting in San Francisco. I just don't know if the state party, if that's the right methodology for even the state to use to get to an endorsement. So I think I understand the recommendation. I just don't know if it's overly prescriptive to us to be recommending that the state choose that path versus recommending that they explore, right, a methodology that actually honors maybe the 60%, but allows for, I mean, I do think ranked choice would help get there, right? Especially in a very crowded field. So I do support that idea, but I also think, will that apply to all statewide races beyond the governor? Like how the state would implement that, right? Which I do think it's worth considering, right? What the impact would be for other candidate endorsements, particularly for statewide offices, maybe not necessarily for congressional, but or Senate. But so I don't know if there's openness to, because I do want to support this. I just kind of struggle with a little bit of that. Is that the right kind of recommendation, or should we really be just asking the party to explore options, right, that maybe include ranked choice voting? I don't know if there's openness to some language change, but in overall, I think this is definitely something that we should work with the state party, work with the rules committee at the state to really understand, and raise it there. And I hope that this actually brings a conversation to the next e-board or convention on this. So thank you for bringing it forward.
So I think there's a question to Member Kingsbury, Director Chen, whether or not there's some openness to an amendment within the language to make it less prescriptive and more worked out. One option among many options.
I am more than happy to change the subject section A to say use ranked choice voting or an alternative method to encourage an endorsement when multiple Democrats are running. I think that that's totally reasonable. It's not something that we are sending to the state party. There is a rule that has been suggested at the state party by a member in Southern California that I believe will be considered at e-board about moving these endorsements to ranked choice voting. And I just really want to just quickly sort of emphasize what was already said, which is that you could still set this at 60% if you really wanted to. But I also don't want to get too caught up in the details because, again, this is a non-binding resolution that's not being sent to the state party, and we can only spend so much time talking about it. The reason why I have faith in ranked choice voting when it comes to California Democratic Party delegates is our job as state party delegates is to be informed on this stuff and to actually be able to rank, say, our top 4 or 5 favorite candidates. And know things about them, and they all call us and ask us to vote for them and tell us things about them, and we get to meet them and touch them in ways that candidates, okay, well, maybe that's a different one. Yeah. Shake hands.
Only if you want to.
No. But we all get to see them, right? We all get to talk to them. We all get to know them. We all get to pick. We all get to really understand them on a deeper level. And that's why voters look to us to make these decisions. And that's why I have confidence that people that are elected delegates or appointed delegates would actually have the ability to say, you know what, if it's not this person, then it's this person. If it's not this person, then it's this person. I think ranked choice voting is a challenge for normal voters because normal voters are busy. And I personally think it's really a struggle to decide who your top 3 favorite candidates are and be able to name anything about them. I think most people are like living their lives. So for us, ranked choice voting as insiders, I think does make a lot of sense. But as I said, I'm ready to accommodate the request by Member Galata. And yeah, so let's vote on this thing.
Are you accepting a friendly amendment?
I am accepting a friendly amendment. I thought there was no such thing as friendly and unfriendly amendments. Yeah, it's just an amendment. So
Correct. The regional director is correct. There is no such thing as a friendly amendment. So are you amending amending the what is it, A clause?
Yes, amending the A clause.
To reflect the suggestion of Member Galata.
Yes.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution as amended? So moved by Member Galata. Second?
Can I second my own?
By Member Mahmood. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
This is item 9, resolution urging reforms in the California Democratic Party's endorsement process. The resolution is authored by Kingsbury. There is an amendment in the resolved clause in recommendation A, which will now read, use ranked choice voting or an alternative method to encourage an endorsement when multiple Democrats are running. And that is how clause A will read. And so the motion is by Galata to approve the resolution as amended. Everything good? Make sense? No questions? Yes. All right, calling the roll. Lai, aye. Mahmood, aye. Mar, aye. Win, aye. Philhauer, aye. Sangiardi, aye. Two, aye. Akbar, aye. Alioto is absent. Arce, aye. Calamucci, pass. Chan is absent. Chandler, aye. Chen, myself is aye. Coles, aye. Dorsey, no. Galata, aye. Gupta, aye. Hare, aye. Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury, aye. Ex officios, Pelosi abstain. Mullen abstain. Kounalakis abstain. Ma abstain. Cohen abstain. Wiener, aye. Haney, aye. Stephanie abstain. Chair Tung,
aye.
Aye. Have all those, wait, did I get Calamucci? Sorry, I'm so sorry. Aye. Calamucci, Proxy Gupta is aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Chair Tung, there are 6 abstentions, leaving 22 present and voting. Of those are 21 aye, 1 no. The motion carries.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for this non-binding resolution. Moving on to agenda item number 10, resolution condemning cuts to state funding for affordable housing and sustainable transportation. Director Chen, would you like to introduce this resolution?
Yes, one moment while I remember. I just don't want to forget the amendment. Nice. Thank you, members. This is a lot of. I'll try to keep this really short. This is a resolution. If you've seen the news, this is somewhat niche. However, you may have heard that the California Air Resources Board, also known as CARB, approved new regulations that would have the effect of reducing funds in the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. This is a fund that the state uses to approve climate mitigation projects, including affordable housing and transit. Unfortunately, these new rules that are coming into effect this year are forecasted to decrease funding significant amounts for housing and transit, and including in San Francisco, specifically for Muni, which I'm the most familiar with. This is set to defund a large portion of the train control project, which is a project that is trying to replace a 30-year-old train control system that still runs on floppy drives. Without the state funding, we don't know if we're going to be able to complete this project. In addition, there are projects in flight to improve safety, reliability, and speed on the NJUDA, on the M Ocean View, and a host of other projects, including affordable housing funds that San Francisco has used and was looking to continue to use to build new housing in San Francisco. This resolution is asking, state leaders, including Gavin Newsom and the legislature, to find ways to restore some of this funding, if not through CARB, but through some other methods. I know that, for example, that State Senator Scott Wiener is working on efforts in the budget right now. But it is a tough time budget-wise, I think, everywhere. But especially with transit, especially in the Bay Area, especially with housing. To be losing these funds in such a critical kind of time is a real blow. And I respectfully ask your support in asking the state to find money to make sure that we fund discount programs for seniors, discount programs for people with disabilities, free programs for free meeting for youth. These things are all funded by the Air Resources Board funding that currently is in jeopardy. Happy to take questions, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Director Chen. Members, any questions for Director Chen or any discussion regarding this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve this resolution condemning cuts to state funding for affordable housing and sustainable transportation? Member Nguyen, are you moving? Yes, okay. Moved by Member Nguyen, seconded by Member Chandler. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
One moment. Sorry, presenting and tallying votes. I am not good at doing both at the same time. This is item number 10, resolution condemning cuts to state funding for affordable housing and sustainable transportation. The resolution is authored by Chen. The motion is by Nguyen to approve the resolution. Let's see, this requires a simple majority. Calling the roll starting from Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar, aye. Nguyen, aye. Philhauer, Philhauer, aye. Sanjirardi, Sanjirardi, aye. Two, aye. Akbar, Akbar, aye. Alioto Pierre is absent. Arce, aye. Kalamuchi, Kalamuchi, abstain. Chan is absent. Chandler, Chandler, aye. Chen, myself is aye. Coles, Proxy Kingsbury. For Coles. Coles, abstain. Dorsey, Dorsey, aye. Galata, Galata, aye. Gupta, Gupta, aye. Hare, Hare, aye. Ho, Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury, Kingsbury, aye. Lai, Lai, aye. Ex officios, Pelosi, Pelosi, aye. Mullen, Mullen, aye. Kounalakis, Kounalakis, abstain. Ma, aye. Cohen, Cohen, abstain. Wiener, Wiener, aye. Haney, Haney, aye. Stephanie, Stephanie, aye. Chair Tung,
aye.
Tung, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Chair Tung, after 4 abstentions, there are 24 members present and voting. Of those 24 have cast their votes for aye. The motion is carried.
Okay, congratulations, Director Chen. Moving on to item number 11, resolution urging action to protect Free City College. Member Galata, would you like to introduce your resolution?
Thank you, Chair Tung. Good evening, colleagues. Before I share some remarks on this resolution, I did just want to thank resolution co-sponsors Gordon Marr, Connie Chan, Michael Nguyen, Lanier Coles, Joe Sanjirardi, and Joshua Arce. Thank you so much for signing on, and hope to have more co-sponsors tonight. I also did just want to acknowledge everyone from the community who spoke or submitted comments in support of this resolution tonight, and specifically want to acknowledge and thank our City College Board of Trustees members who are here tonight, President Alia Chisti, Vice President Luis Zamora, Trustee Ruth Ferguson, I know Heather McCarty was here as well, and Vic Chung, our trustees. Incredible. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for taking time to be here, and most importantly, thank you for standing so tall on this issue that I know is so important to you and is so important to so many of us in San Francisco. I also want to thank the students, student trustees, former students, and community members who also spoke and shared their powerful stories with us tonight on the impact that Free City has had in their life. And I also want a special thank you and shout out to Alyssa Messer, a longtime friend and comrade from AFT 2121 for her steadfast advocacy and leadership on behalf of City College and its students, for your work in the classroom, but also all your work in the community, and for your incredible partnership on this resolution. So I just think after tonight's public comments, I think we were reminded of something important, which is that Free City is more than just a program. It's about people. It's about students working toward a degree. It's about workers learning new skills. It's about first-generation college students pursuing opportunities their parents and families never had. It's about immigrants, veterans, parents, lifelong learners, and San Franciscans who simply want a chance to build a better future. And ultimately, it's about who we are as San Francisco and the values we choose to uphold. This resolution tonight is not asking us to chart a new course. It's asking us to reaffirm what Democrats in San Francisco have believed for generations, that public education is one of the most powerful tools we have to expand opportunity, strengthen communities, and sustain a healthy democracy. This party, San Francisco Democratic Party, has been a proud supporter of Free City College since the beginning, when Proposition W was placed on the ballot back in 2016, which was not that long ago, but also is a little time ago now. And it was endorsed by this body, and San Francisco voters went on to approve it with 64% of the vote, making a simple but profound statement that higher education should be accessible and affordable for every San Franciscan. And 10 years later, that vision has exceeded expectations, as we heard tonight. Free City has become one of the most successful educational equity and workforce development initiatives in San Francisco history. It has served more than 20,000 students, or residents rather, annually. More than 70% of City College credit students benefit from this program. Tens of thousands of San Franciscans have walked through the doors of City College because Free City made that opportunity possible. And the benefits extend far beyond the classroom. Free City strengthens our workforce. It helps people gain the skills needed for good paying jobs. It supports economic mobility. It strengthens families. It helps build the next generation of civic leaders. And it is an investment that pays dividends across our entire city. But we should also be clear about why Free City has succeeded. Its success has never been just about the free tuition alone. The program was intentionally built on two pillars, which we heard about tonight. The first is the tuition-free access. The second is the Free City Cash Grant for low-income students. Because we know that for many students, the biggest barriers to completing college are not tuition. They're the transportation costs, they're the books and supplies, there's childcare, there's food and housing insecurity. The Free City Cash Grant recognizes that reality and helps students stay enrolled, stay on track, and graduate. And today, that second pillar is at risk. The proposed city budget would fund Free City below the level needed to maintain both that tuition support and these critical grants. And if that happens, as we heard tonight, it is low-income students, the very students the program was designed to support, who will bear that burden and be most impacted. We know right now the city budget is being negotiated and finalized at City Hall. This is a critical juncture. I'm hearing we're hours, days away from a potential final budget. So through this resolution, we are urging the mayor and the Board of Supervisors not to go backwards on one of San Francisco's greatest success stories. And I know the mayor is focused on San Francisco's success. Free City is already a success. It's a program that reflects our values, it's delivering measurable results, and it's opened doors for tens of thousands of San Franciscans, transforming lives. So let's not inhibit that success, let's build on it. And as Democrats, we're asking City Hall to protect what voters created, what students depend on, and what has become one of the most effective investments our city has made in educational opportunity and economic mobility, which, might I add, is so important, especially at a time when the cost of living in San Francisco continues to soar. Economic uncertainty weighs on working families. AI is reshaping how people build careers, how they earn a living. So we know that access to affordable higher education has never been more urgent. So with that, colleagues, I hope tonight we can come together united in our support of a program that reflects the very best of San Francisco, a city that I believe still believes opportunity should be within reach for everyone. So I urge an aye vote on this tonight. I invite any co-sponsors or colleagues to also share any additional remarks. And thank you. And thank you again to the leadership of our incredible College Board of Trustees and the community that's rallying behind this right now. And let's make sure this budget at City Hall includes full funding for Free City.
Thank you, Member Galata. We've got lots of people who want to talk. Member Gupta.
There's not much I can add to Member Galata's speech. Thank you, Member Galata, for bringing this forward. I would like to be added on as a co-sponsor. The only thing I would add, so first of all, I'd like to recognize my fellow educational leaders. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for all the work you do. It is tireless. I appreciate you, and you are the continuation of all the great work that SFUSD seeks to do. So I really, really appreciate that. And you do so much more for our students that are continuing their education, for adults that are continuing their education. The only thing I would add is I sincerely hope the city can find the funding for this, given that during this time, especially when our federal administration is attacking our students, is attacking our cities that are trying to provide an education. We just had a federal attack or bringing of our superintendent of SFUSD before Congress, distracting from the mission to educate our students at a time where our funding is being cut short from the federal administration. It is more incumbent upon us as a city to stand steadfast with our community college, and fund it fully. So thank you again, and I look forward to be added as a co-sponsor.
Member Cohen.
Very quickly, thank you so much for this resolution. Member Cohen was very emphatic and excited about this particular resolution. She says that she did support Free City when she was on Board of Supervisors, and she will continue to support it, and she would like to be added on as a co-sponsor.
Member Pelosi.
Hi, just announcing the speaker is excited to support this and wants to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Member Pelosi. Any other members wishing? Member Marr.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair Tung and Member Galata, especially for bringing this important resolution forward. I think, again, yeah, Member Galata, you've really said everything that we need to say about this, and as well as during public comment, all the City College students, faculty, and the leadership from the Board of Trustees. I just wanted to add a few points of my own, just my personal connection to this issue, and also a little bit of sort of my broader political thinking about these issues right now, and looking at how other people in other areas are addressing serious budget deficits, through an abundance mentality versus austerity mentality. And so I do want to start by just saying, this issue is I feel a lot of personal connection to it, because as some of you know, when I was on the Board of Supervisors, I worked very closely for many months with the City College community, faculty, students, leaders, in negotiating the 10-year memorandum of understanding for Free City College with the mayor's office. And, I think at that time, and I sponsored the legislation that sort of, that created that at the Board of Supervisors. And we really did that because we recognize that long-term fiscal stability is what really allows community institutions and critical programs like Free City College to plan, evaluate, and improve their impact over time. And we designed that 10-year framework precisely to avoid annual funding crises. Our goal was to create reliable baseline funding for Free City College, ensuring that higher education remains a dependable pillar of our local economy, and rather than a variable line item subject to year budgetary debates and fights. I think we also, as it has been stated many times, we all know that the city is facing a serious budget deficit right now, and hard choices have to be made. But as leaders, here of the Democratic Party and in our city, we really have to look closely at the mechanics of the mayor's proposed 30% reduction to Free City College. And that's after the previous mayor's 50% reduction in the funding to Free City College, as President Chisty alluded to. So slashing the allocation now from 9.3 million to 6.5 million will really eliminate the critical financial assistance that our lowest income students rely on to stay enrolled. And as we look at for efficiencies, we must acknowledge that tuition is only part of the barrier to education. And for an adult learner retraining for a healthcare career or a student working part-time job, free tuition only works if they can afford the textbooks and transit and other day-to-day expenses. So the targeted grants, which are really at stake here in the current mayor budget cut proposed by the mayor, they're just a modest investment, but they provide a massive return because preserving them keeps our most vulnerable students in the classroom and on track to enter our local workforce. And I speak about this from a very personal perspective because my daughter, it was a City College student and a transfer student, and she benefited greatly from Free City, and so I could see how important it is from just from our family's experience. And then thinking about this more broadly, again, as I said, again, the mayor has rightly pointed out that we must protect our core services as we manage the major budget deficits in the city, in which I think all of us completely agree with. But as we look across the country for successful models of governance, we can see that other major cities are defining public higher education exactly this way. So look at New York City under Mayor Zoran Mandani, and even while navigating a complex fiscal environment and similar budget deficits over there in New York, his administration has leaned into public higher education as an academic or economic driver. And they're actively championing a new deal for CUNY, the City University of New York, to secure long-term tuition-free pathways. And just this spring, they created secure baseline funding for City University of New York as part of a broader affordability agenda and budget framework. So this shows us that there is a viable path where economic stewardship and public investment go hand in hand, and we don't have to choose between a balanced budget and our workforce pipeline. And we can and should protect both. Finally, in closing, I just want to say San Francisco voters have consistently shown their support for Free City College, as others have alluded to, especially when we passed Prop W back in 2018. They voted to invest in our collective future. So this resolution isn't about division, it's about collaboration. And it's an invitation for the Board of Supervisors and the Mayor's Office to come together and honor the spirit of our 10-year agreement and find a collaborative way just to shield our lowest income students from these cuts. So again, I also thank everyone for your support on this already. So thank Member Galatas for your leadership, and look forward to us passing this and sending a message to City Hall at this critical moment in the budget negotiations. Right, Bilal?
Thank you, Member Marr. Any other, Member Dorsey?
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank Member Galata for his leadership on this. As well, thanks to all the co-sponsors and other folks who have led City College for during this program. Last month, I went to a graduation for the Addiction and Recovery Counseling Certificate Program. I think it was the largest cohort that they've ever had. I think most of the people there are from the recovery community. It was really powerful and moving to see people who really have been through it and, in recovery from addiction, who are finding purpose in something that we really need, which is more drug counselors. And I know that Member Akbar knows a lot of those folks, and they're doing great work. And it was just a reminder to me even separate from that program, what got people there was knowing about Free City College. So I am a believer, and I will say that I just confirmed with my chief of staff that as of tonight, it's funded. It's on the budget chair's wall, and I have supported it, and good work. And I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Well, Member Galata, you were very effective in your advocacy, so much so that Free City is funded. So I will just close this out by saying that I have been a student at City College, and I have introduced a young woman. At the time, she was a young woman, low income. We were matched up through Big Brothers Big Sisters, and she did not necessarily have the mentorship or pathway within her own family to get to City College, but she did enroll and take classes at City College, and that was basically her only shot at post GED, post high school education. And the Free City program is one that's very important. I think it's something that's emblematic of San Francisco. It's important not just for the pathway to four-year universities, but also to trades, learning new skills. And I think we will need a lot of that, given where AI is going. We will need to have a vehicle for retraining a workforce and City College is the perfect place for that. I am fully in support of this. And again, Member Galata, you're very persuasive. They've already buckled over there at City Hall. But I do think in principle that having this pathway, this investment, as Trustee McCarty said, this investment for San Francisco is truly important to protect. And so I'm happy to support this resolution anyway. So, Director Chen, would you call the roll? I'm sorry, we haven't even gotten through all that stuff. Do we have a motion to pass this, to support this resolution?
So moved.
So moved by Member Arce. Is there a second? Second by, somebody said it over here. Member Gupta. Director Chen, would you call the roll?
Thank you, Chair Tung. Where's my tab? Let's see. This is item 11, resolution urging action to protect Free City College. The resolution is authored by Galata. The motion is by Arce to approve the resolution. This is a roll call vote, starting from Mar. Mar, aye. Win. Win, aye. Philhauer. Philhauer, aye. Sanjirardi. Sanjirardi, aye. Two, aye. Akbar. Akbar, aye. Alioto Pierce, absent. Arce. Arce, aye. Calamucci.
Yes.
Calamucci, aye. Chan is absent. Chandler. Chandler, aye. Chen is aye. Coles.
Aye.
Coles, aye. Dorsey.
Aye.
Dorsey, aye. Galata. Galata, aye. Gupta. Gupta, aye. Hare. Hare, aye. Ho. Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Ex officios. Pelosi. Pelosi, aye. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kounalakis. Kounalakis, pass. Ma. Ma, aye. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, aye. Going back, Kounalakis. Kounalakis, aye. Chair Tung.
Aye.
Tung, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Chair Tung, there are 28 present and voting, and there are 28 ayes. The motion is carried.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, moving on to our last resolution of the night. This is item number 12, a resolution in support of LGBTQ+ pride and the community's use of a rainbow as a representative symbol. This is by Member Sanjirardi and myself. Would you like to kick us off, Member Sanjirardi, or Director Sanjirardi?
Thank you, Chair Tung. And thank you all for dealing with me one more time this evening on my high horse. And thank you, Chair Tung, for your partnership in this resolution. I really appreciate it. I grew up in a baseball household. And it wasn't just like T-ball and fast pitch and middle school ball and high school. My dad grew up in Brooklyn playing baseball and made his way to Oklahoma, where after he graduated, he became a public school teacher. And at the age of 22, became a high school baseball coach. And I'm proud to say that today, at age 70, 48 years later, he is still a baseball coach. And just to brag a little, in 2006, he was actually inducted into the Oklahoma Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame. We are a baseball family through and through. And the Giants are my adopted MLB team by far. I do love the Giants. And my dad taught me a game that teaches focus, discipline, planning, the value of practice, and above all, teammanship. And I think we all know it's not just about the players and the teams as we think about them, but it is also about their families and the people that they surround themselves with and the people who show up for them and show up for them in the way that we hope that our families would show up for us. In the way that my parents and my father has shown up for me in my own journey in coming out, and what we've experienced as a family as a result of that. And we want, and oftentimes we think of the team showing up for us as them winning, but I know that our support when it comes to sports and these sort of teams is not conditional on them winning. We show up even when they lose. And winning isn't the only way for them to show up for us. Sometimes they have themed nights to let us know they love us back, whether for qualities that we were born with or contributions we make to society that the Giants appreciate. And that includes things like Filipino Heritage Night, Irish Heritage Night, Firefighter Appreciation Night, Jewish Heritage Night, Black Heritage Night, Autism Acceptance Night, Law Enforcement Appreciation Night, Faith Day. Yes, a themed day specifically appreciating communities of faith, and a very special night I proudly took my parents to last July when they visited, Italian Heritage Night. I still have my Italian-themed Giants cooking apron hanging in my kitchen. And no doubt it was my Italian heritage that in this room last year during public comment bestowed upon me the nickname of Meatball San Girardi. And this team, even in 1994, had a themed night, until there was a cure in response to the AIDS epidemic. That's who this team was, and I still believe that that's who this team is. But I want to be clear about my feelings. I am not just disappointed or ashamed. I am a bit embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the team for a lack of leadership, and I'm embarrassed for the thorough misunderstanding some of the players have of the impact of their actions and what these nights represent. And I'm also a little scared and maybe more a little pissed off that maybe they weren't confused about the meaning of one of the verses that they did write on their hats. The one in Genesis where they are trying to reclaim the meaning of the rainbow. The story where God saw a world full of wickedness and chose to drown nearly all of humanity. And then after killing everyone said, except for Noah's family, said, here's a rainbow as a promise to never kill again. Or kill everyone again. Rainbows have been used throughout humanity for thousands of years for all sorts of things, not just the LGBTQ community, but we know on Pride Night, the rainbow is specifically in that context for the LGBT community, for us, and that's who the rainbow is meant to represent. And that's when this verse was written on a ball cap, not on Faith Day, but on Pride Night. And that begets the question, what are their feelings about that? And are we the wickedness that forced God's hand into drowning nearly the whole world? What were they trying to communicate? Certainly we don't know based off of Buster Posey's press conference. Well, I have bad news for them because I feel like I have to say this. We're here, we're queer, and it's Pride Month. But back to the high horse, much like I preach that we should love one another unconditionally, and much like I believe in each of our capacity for redemption, and much like I'm always convinced that I can win anybody over, I believe and hope that the players will see the light. I believe in their capacity to grow and to love their fans back, whomever they are. After all, we are on the same team. And that's why when my parents, Pete and Nancy, come to visit and stay with me and my husband in 2 weeks, I look forward to taking them to the first game of the Giants and the Blue Jays. So thank you, happy Pride, and let's go Giants. Chair Tung.
Member Sangiardi. Well, I don't think I can top that, but I do want to add a couple of comments. The Giants for a very long time have been an institution that have supported the LGBTQ community. And this, as a San Franciscan, was very disappointing. I will say that a representative from the Giants organization did reach out to me today and did not ask for any specific kind of advocacy, didn't ask for anything at all. And said that we would do the right thing, that we would vote however we were going to vote today. And the right thing to me is to support the LGBTQ community in San Francisco, because it is inherently a part of San Francisco. It's not about whatever day that you celebrate, whatever. This is Pride Month. This is San Francisco. This has always been a beacon of hope, of safety, a place that people came when they couldn't be anywhere else, when their families rejected them, when their communities rejected them. San Francisco welcomed people with open arms. And the fact that the rainbow has become this heated point of discussion for these players is kind of surprising to me. But the rainbow belongs to everybody, and it especially belongs to San Francisco and our LGBTQ community. What disappoints me about the Giants is it is because of their longstanding support of the community that the response here, which is tepid, which is not nearly apologetic enough, which does not recognize the hurt and harm that it's done, not only to it's like the LGBTQ community, but allies, supporters, and greater San Franciscans. But I think it sets a very poor tone for our children in San Francisco, and what owning up to mistakes is like, and particularly as a mom of an 8-year-old who is playing in the Junior Giants Little League. This has not been addressed enough. It has not been addressed at all. This week, among many things, Junior Giants, they have themes for each week of the playing season this summer about healthy living, about how to be a good teammate. And ironically, this week's pledge is to strike out bullying. And my son recited this pledge to me today as part of his baseball learnings at the Junior Giants. I am a Junior Giant. I pledge to strike out bullying by respecting my teammates, coaches, family, and friends, giving up put-downs, standing up for what is right, treating others the way I would like to be treated, praising people and helping others, showing my friends that bully-free life is more fun. And so while I wouldn't say necessarily, wouldn't describe the actions during Pride Night at the Giants as direct bullying, I would suggest that it was not welcoming. It is not treating the way that I would like to be treated. And were it any other group, I think it would be even more stark. Like if on Asian American Heritage Night, or Mexican American Heritage Night, or Italian American Heritage Night, one of the players said something about, like, I don't support immigration into this country. I don't agree with our immigration policy. I don't believe these people should be allowed. I don't believe in birthright citizenship. So all of y'all go home. Totally, you're right to believe that, because we do live in a democracy with freedom of speech. But don't invite me to the Giants with the premise that we are celebrating you and then be disrespected and then profit off of it and not issue an apology. So to the Giants, I say, be better, do more, and return to your San Francisco roots. Because people still love the Giants. And you can come back to us. But you need to do more. You need to do more. Member Chandler.
I just wanted to hit on one point that hasn't been as discussed, and which made me particularly angry watching Buster Posey today. And this is a message directly for Buster. Yes, there's the impact on the fans, understandably upset. When I was watching Buster give his non-statement, I was thinking about the players. There is not a single out gay player in the Major League Baseball. We know there are gay. Statistically, it is impossible that there is not a gay player. Many gay players, including on the Giants, that do not feel comfortable being out because of the silence that they hear coming out of Buster Posey's mouth again and again and again. And it's the silence that we heard from Buster Posey in the non-statements that he gave that allows that culture to continue. So to Buster Posey, to the entire leadership team of the Giants, you need to correct this. You need to do better, not just by our fans, but by your own players.
Member Witt.
Hi, I just want to share my gratitude for Director Sangiardi and Chair Tung for bringing this forward, and thank you, Member Chandler, for your remarks. I first touched baseball or softball through gay softball here in San Francisco. That was the first team sport I ever picked up. And unlike my friend Joe here, I was not in the sports family. I was very much not just a refugee family, just kind of study harder. Sports was the new thing for me, and especially coming here to San Francisco 20 years ago with no friends and just law school. Softball, gay softball was my first entryway into like team leadership and just kind of camaraderie. And then my first entryway to the Giants was the 2010 World Series in October, and the orange surprise and all these things, and the joy of that and watching that. And I had just joined gay softball at the time. So again, in 2012 and 2014, when we saw the Giants, to me, that's my forever Giants memory. I remember very clearly celebrating in the streets of the Castro, right, with throwing toilet paper and celebrating with all the gay fans. And then now, like, to see this happening on June 12th, which happened to be the 10-year anniversary of the Pulse shootings, and hearing the day after about all this, like, to me, a slap in the face to our community. You're going to welcome into our house and then, and just kind of do this, and it's a lack of leadership. It's a lack of leadership from the management, from the president of baseball operations. And to me, when I saw Buster Posey, who I really liked back then in 2010, 2011, 12, 2014, he, just the silence, as Member Chandler was saying, it's deafening, and it to me makes baseball a homophobic sport, because it is not like this in women's basketball, which I went to the Valkyries game. And that is a whole thing. Like, I'm just saying, it's so joyful, and I love my lovely lesbian friends. They're just there in it, and it gives me permission to be my full gay drag queen. Yes, self. That is not the case in baseball. It's just not. And I feel like on a special night like Pride Night, when drag queens like Peaches Christ and Sister Roma have produced this event in partnership with the Giants. And you have the drag laureate, Persia, going in her full black and orange drag, going from the Pulse Memorial in the Castro to the Giants game. Like, it's such an important part of our city as a hometown team that it really is a slap in the face. And the fact that 11 days later, Buster Posey can't literally say, I stand with the LGBTQ community. Of course, I am an ally. Like, this very simple words he refused to say because he just wanted to talk about baseball. It's like, well, you need to talk about baseball and how you and your management basically slapped us in the face. So that's what I'm so proud that this Democratic Party is standing by its values, standing with LGBT folks. And I want to just be a co-sponsor to this resolution. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Member Nguyen. Anyone else like to be recognized? Oh, yes, and Member San Girardi needs to offer some amendment.
All right, some technical things, Director Chen. 3 things. One on I just exited the document. On line 1 in the 3rd whereas clause, it needs to be updated from the 19th to the 12th. On the 3rd line of the 3rd whereas clause, it needs to be updated from 3 to 4. And then on the 4th line of the 3rd whereas clause, it needs to be updated after writing. You should insert versus like.
Versus like.
Versus like after writing.
Versus.
VERSES, like in the Bible.
What?
Like Genesis chapter 9 verses.
Wrote all that down also.
Yes. Also, the other juror should be amended to read Tony Patelli. In the resolve clause.
In the further details of the resolution we sent to.
Correct.
So, sorry, is it?
Replace Chuckini with Tony Patelli.
I'm going to recommend that we keep this fast. So, sorry, to make sure I understand. Okay, so small amendments, 3rd whereas clause line 1. The date is not June 19th, but June 12th.
Yep.
In the 3rd whereas clause, the 3rd line, instead of 3 players, it's 4 players.
Yep.
The 3rd whereas clause, 4th line, instead of the word writing, like scribble writing, it said verses, like Bible verses.
It should read writing versus like.
Oh, okay, got it.
Simply inserting the 2 words versus like after writing.
Yes. So in the context, 3 Giants players staged a protest of Friday night by altering their uniforms, writing versus like Genesis cycle.
Okay.
Good. Speaking for the record, so that later on we can consult the recording.
Sorry, speaking for the record, so later we can consult the recording and make sure we get all that. Great. I'm sorry, does this now go back to the chair?
Yes. So as amendment, do we have a, yes, Member Galata.
No.
I just wanted to I just echo everything that folks have said, and I just wanted to also underscore that I think, one, it's an embarrassment what the Giants are doing and their response to this, and I think they thought this was just going to go away. We're not going to let it go away, and I'm glad that this body is also speaking out, because it's been however many days, 11 days or more. And the pushback and the voices of not only queer LGBT fans, but our allies that have been speaking out is so important for everything we talked about in terms of the massive homophobia, hypermasculinity, heteronormativity that dominates sports, but especially male sports and baseball. We need our allies speaking out and standing with us right now, because that sends even more of a powerful message. And we've always needed our allies in the LGBT community, and we need you now. And I think we need to keep the pressure on. The Giants organization should be issuing an apology. They should be taking the money that our community has given as their season ticket holders. There's those of us who were there, some of folks were there on Pride Night, and make a donation to LGBT organizations right now in this month. We're not going to let this go. And so I just think we need to keep the pressure on and make it very clear. I won't be going to Oracle Park or to a Giants game anytime soon. I'm honest about that. I was thinking about going, plus they're playing really lousy. But, so.
It's a great sacrifice of
It
yours,
is,
Peter.
but I was at the stadium last year for Pride Day, and it meant something. And to see our community also represented and so visible in that stadium is so powerful. Having gone to games, I grew up in New York, going to Yankee games. My father and grandfather worked at Yankee Stadium, and so, I just always felt so kind of small and scared in those spaces for many reasons, right? But at Giants Stadium, at Oracle, you feel like you can show up as your full self. That means something to our community. That means something. And that's what the SF Giants have been about. And that's why this is it's so embarrassing. It's so disgraceful. I agree. They do better. Do better. Make an apology and put money where, and not just lip service. Right now, that we're not even getting anything, but actually say something, and more importantly, do something to make this right.
All right. So item number 12, do I have a motion to support this resolution? So moved by Member Dorsey, a second by Member Nguyen. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you, members. The last resolution on the agenda tonight. This is item 12, resolution in support of LGBTQ+ pride and the community's use of a rainbow as a representative symbol. Authors are Sanjirardi and Tung. The motion is by Dorsey to approve the resolution. Roll call vote, starting from Nguyen. Yes. Nguyen, aye. Philhauer.
Yes.
Philhauer, aye. Sanjirardi. Sanjirardi, aye. Two, aye. Akbar. Akbar, aye. Alioto appears absent. Arce. Arce, aye. Calamucci. Calamucci, aye. Chan is absent. Chandler. Chandler, aye. Chen, myself is aye. Coles. Coles, aye. Dorsey. Dorsey, aye. Galata. Galata, aye. Gupta. Gupta, aye. Hare. Hare, aye. Ho. Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar. Mar, aye. Ex officios, Pelosi. Pelosi, aye. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kounalakis. Kounalakis, aye. Ma. Ma, aye. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, aye. Chair Tung.
Aye.
Tung, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Chair Tung, there are 28 voting, 28 ayes. The motion is carried.
Thank you. All right. Item number 13, which is new business. Members, is there any new business? So I would, yes, a hand is where? Oh, Member Galata.
Thank you, Chair Tung. I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I did, and I'm apologies that I was late to the start of the meeting, but I did just want to acknowledge and lift up our colleague, John Avalos, Member Avalos, who has submitted their resignation from this body. And I just wanted to, just extend our tremendous support to Member Avalos, Member Supervisor Avalos, as he navigates a difficult time and tends to his medical and health care needs right now. And he is someone who's not only just a friend and a comrade and someone who I respect tremendously, but he has been a longtime member of this body since 2012. That is a long tenure here at the DCCC. That is commendable, and John's voice has always been, I've been raising my hand a lot tonight in his spirit and his honor, because that is John. He makes his voice heard, and that has been something so powerful to see throughout his career and his time in San Francisco politics, not only on the Board of Supervisors, but also right here at this body. And I know not everyone has always agreed with John. I haven't always agreed with John, but I've always respected him because of his fearlessness, because of his boldness, his heart and his values are always always clear. And I will miss him, and I'm just hoping that the body can take, to do something, potentially to reach out to support him and his family. And I also hope that we can honor his request that he submitted to the chair around his successor, to make sure that his voice, his values will continue to be represented here at the DCCC. I think we owe it to John for all of his years of service, and just want to, again, just to send our love and support to him right now.
Thank you, Member Galato. Okay. Any other new business, members? Okay, seeing none, moving on to item number 14, which is adjournment. Are there any members who would like to adjourn the meeting in honor of or in memoriam of?
I'd like to close with Juneteenth and just in honor of Juneteenth, and to ensure that as a body that we always have inclusion of all people, and that no community, no matter how strong we are or how we may be, we cannot forget about other communities. And when we do that, we have to be inclusive of those other communities. And we also have to be reminded that every voice should be heard, whether we agree or disagree. Because that's what makes, I heard someone's talking about a democracy. That's what makes us have a democracy, when we can hear people that we may disagree with also. But I just wanted to keep a reminder that we stay inclusive of all communities, and that no community is stronger than another. Be reminded on this day.
Thank you, Vice Chair Akbar. Any other members? So I have a personal in memoriam that I'd like to make. We had a death in the leadership at San Francisco International Airport this week. Jeff Littlefield, who was the chief operating officer of the airport, passed away suddenly. He was in the aviation industry for 3 decades, was the COO of San Francisco International Airport for 10 years, and was a giant man with the bigger smile, who has been a real leader at one of the premier airports in the country, and has been a member of the city family for those years as well. And the airport will miss him very much so. So I'd offer that as an in memoriam. Anyone else? All right. In that case, we are adjourned. Thank you, members.